Well, welcome everyone to Your Little Castle Show. I mean, it's hard work pays off. I think is was the theme of this show. I think, Dan. Do you mind? I didn't even tell him I was going to do that. I'm always impromptu with my introductions, right? Because how do you come up with these things, Cowboy? Well, they're always off the top of the cuff. They say, right, off the cuff, top of the head, top of the cuff, the top of the cuff.
Yeah.
Business owners have to work hard year round, all the time. Smaller business owners, like anybody under 100 100 employees, is considered small business, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
How do you think you've had so much success over the years?
Well, I mean, I think it comes down to doing what you say you're going to do. It's interesting that, when I got started in business, I was pretty young and I didn't know a lot. But what I did know is that if somebody called me and asked me for an opportunity for a chance to come out and look at their property and bid work, that I knew to show up when I said I was going to. And I found early on that just by doing that increased my opportunity of getting the job 100 times, because there were many other guys that for whatever reason weren't showing up. And so I think it comes back to those kinds of, basic things. Do what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely. And I had Dan turn his chair just a little bit. So pull your whole chair over here just a little bit. I'll get my camera guy to adjust the camera, but there we go. Just come this way a little bit. I think we got it. We'll see there. There you are. You're right there where you need to be. Now,
got
good
it.
Job. Good job. And so, thanks, camera guy. But yeah, I mean, that's literally the success of a business depends on a lot of things, but just some core principles, I guess they would say.
Really
and it
does.
is like, make sure, do what you say. Hey, we're already starting off with the pencil here, everybody. Take note. Do what you say. I don't know if we've said that one on the show before, but people kind of allude to that always. Do what you say you're going to do, right?
I mean, there's been a lot of talk recently. I know there's controversy about the 10 Commandments in schools and whatever, but I mean, if we were to boil things down and kind of live along those lines, things would be simpler, I think, and business would be more straightforward. Do what you say you're going to do. Stand behind your word. And, it's a great starting point, I think.
Well said. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. This is Your Little Castle Show. You can see that part, right? You like nice things. Where do you like nice things? In your little castle that Dan has made look absolutely amazing. We're going to show you. We lined up just a few of his pictures. They're all amazing. So I said, Dan, how about 5? He said, Let's do 5. So we're going to do that. With that, so Brooke always likes the fact, and Amy, thanks for the support there as our sponsor, one of our biggest sponsors, and just love what you guys do. So with that, I'm going to put up on the TV walls. We decided we're going to put your logo up. There it is on TV wall number 1, and then you've got a great looking website, and that'll be up behind us. There it is. So we'll do a little meander through the website here in just a minute as well. So tell me then, Dan, as I continue down my questions that I haven't yet pulled up. I'm pulling those up here, but I always know the first question, and that is, why did you decide to get into this particular industry, this space? This is your profession.
It is. It's interesting. It's interesting. I learned, I wasn't maybe cut out exactly for continuing education after high school. I ended up going to Merrimack for a while, but my dad was in the trades. So I learned hard work really early, and I learned that I was pretty good at it. Went to work for a couple other people in the industry, and I thought, man, they don't seem that much smarter than me. I think I can do it. And so I became an entrepreneur pretty young. I ran a business for 20 years. It was a pretty good size masonry company, and had some early successes and worked on some of St. Louis's kind of premier space, including downtown and the ballpark and other stuff, and shifted gears to start Luna Builds about 15 years ago.
So really, is it like 35 years combined between
it's pretty
the two?
close.
Brick
pretty
is
close.
very
Yeah.
close to. I mean, there's a lot of brick and those big cinder, not cinder. What are the big blocks that you build with?
Yeah, I mean, so starting Luna Builds, I was able to capture a lot of the same workforce that had been with me before. A lot of my guys have been with me for a really long time, and those are super craftsmen. It's a challenge, of course, to hire people in today's market. It's really a challenge to find guys with the level of knowledge in the masonry world as well as the carpentry world. And I'm so fortunate to have really great guys in both of those categories. It helps us tremendously.
Well, I don't think everybody always watches every Your Little Castle show, so I'm going to bring this one up again. If you've heard it before, man, I wish I was as smart as Dan. Because I went to work for the man. They said, working for the man. I was working at Anheuser-Busch, making a great, great living. And then I saw what some of these business guys were doing. I'm like, I could even figure out the evaluations. You can look at hoovers.com. And I'm like, small business guy worth, so I'm not even looked you up, Dan, I don't know. But I was to $3 and $5 and $10 million. I'm like, I'd have to work for Anheuser-Busch for 50 years before I'd be worth that much money. But these business owners are smart. And even if you don't make a ton of money, you usually make a pretty good living. And you get to control your time and what you do and follow your passion. And you're the boss, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth in that. It also is a tremendous amount of hours, in many cases. But yeah, I think it's in my particular purview or feeling it's well worth it.
Well, that's what we're talking about. We want to share the tips and secrets of the experts in our industries, but highlighting those local leaders, sharing their secrets to success. Thank you for coming in to do that with us.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
So, what led you there to this as a child?
It's sort of by timing. I think is important, and I got into building some projects. We build luxury outdoor living for folks. What does that mean? Luxury outdoor living. Well, it means we are one of, if not the only local one-stop hub for all things backyard luxury outdoor living. And that means we will build your in-ground swimming pool from start to finish, from design to finish, as well as your pool house or your pavilion, and your outdoor kitchen and fireplace, and all things that allow you to turn the outdoor part of your home into a real asset. Since COVID and people getting shut out of their country club swimming pools and public swimming pools, the in-home swimming pool desire went crazy, and we were in the right place at the right time. We don't build a ton of those because we put a lot into them, and managing that kind of process takes a lot of our time, and we don't want to jeopardize one project by trying to get too many. So we keep it tight on the number of pools that we build, but we do pride ourselves on being a one-stop hub for the entire process, and making it simpler for the homeowner.
He said a lot there, everybody. That was because, what are we looking for as a homeowner?
Yeah.
Usually homeowners work very hard.
Yeah.
Especially people who have really nice homes. Mm-hmm. I'll show you pictures of my house sometime. I've got a decent house. But some of the work houses I'm living with, I aspire to be those guys, but they work very hard for that. Mm-hmm. They want somebody that's going to come in and do this right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
money may not always be an object. Sometimes, obviously, everybody's sensitive to the budget, but they want this thing done right. It's really expensive to redo a project like this.
Amen. That's absolutely true. And even though it may not be money may not be the only the most important factor, every project is driven by a budget at the end of the day. And so it's really important for us to get it right, to spend the time up front, and to make sure that what we're doing at these properties only adds value and doesn't detract, especially from the neighboring properties. And by that I mean, you hear horror stories of somebody's water flooding out someone else's basement, and there's just a lot that goes into it that during pre-planning stages can be avoided, and we really try to make sure that's the case.
Well, again, if you're going to do things at the stuff, I already put one of your pictures up there.
Okay.
You can do those sometimes during the discussion. We're going to go through these, but there's just one example, everybody. We're going to show a bunch of these pictures, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into that, let's talk a couple questions, because you got a lot of great reviews. We're going to go over that a little bit. Mm-hmm. People have a lot of great things to say all over the place. You got reviews from all kinds of places. Some people like only on Google. You've got House and Builder and a bunch of stuff you got out there. So much people said about Dan was all good stuff. What was your passion that led you here? How did you decide this is what you wanted to stick with? Was it because you had so much success to begin with? It was also something you enjoyed?
You know what? It was some of the parts that we build now were spawned because of need that I saw in the market, where people were literally asking us to if we would take over these particular parts of their job. And by that I mean I worked for a good number of of local pool builders, and I would come in and do the specialty stonework on a lot of these projects. And because of the way we conduct ourselves, homeowners were asking us if we would, step in and maybe complete the parts of the project that somebody else initially was doing. And I passed on that opportunity for a while, and eventually I thought, there's a real need here. A lot of it comes down to communication. We found that there's just people get super busy in this industry, and sometimes the communication can fall off, and we really try to, if anything, over communicate. And so I got into building pools and the ancillary things around a pool because there was a need for it, frankly. And it turns out we've gotten to be really, really good at it, and are learning all the time, frankly.
Well, yeah. Dan throws out like 7 notable comments, remarks, statements, powerful, empowering literature. Yeah, I mean, my mom is, I won't say how old my mom is. She doesn't really even hide it. She's been working for a long time. They're doing a 60th year of teaching.
Wow.
Special dedication to her.
That's beautiful.
But she started when she was -5, so she's 55 now.
Yeah. Right.
But she says, Carter, I still learn every single day.
Yeah, that's the goal, isn't it?
Why is that so important?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just, especially in this space, in this outdoor living thing, you don't have to go far. You can turn on the TV and watch 10 DIY shows that are talking about all of the options in this world. And it's important, I think, for us to help our clients kind of sift through that. A lot of times people don't know even where to begin, and we're able to help them with that. And they learn from us, and on every project, we're learning from them and from each other.
Right?
Yeah, it's cool.
And that's what I talked about. That's where I joke with people. I've got a master's in media communication from Webster University. So my buddies used to make fun of me in high school or college and grad school. They were getting their law degrees or whatever. And I was like, they're like, you're never going to make any money, man. There's the communications. That's a bogus degree. I'm like, well, guys, I was making like 3 times what you guys were making back when I was in my 20s, just because I was brought into the communications world to start off answering phones and built myself to build the Microsoft Exchange servers for Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
And you were talking about communication. Email, one of the things you use these days, but texting, everything you've got to do. But how many times have you had a project that you could tell was about to go sideways, and you go, wait a minute, let's check with what the customer needs. Make that phone call, send that text, check the email, look at their Facebook direct message. I mean, there's a million ways to communicate now.
Yeah.
Or somebody just give them a phone call.
A lot of times, that's right.
We got to fix it. Wait a minute, we're about
Yeah.
to make a $20,000 change here
Yeah.
for this $400,000 project. We better get this right.
Yeah. Yeah, we use some software now that we've just started with, and it allows the customer a lot of transparency. It maybe takes a little getting used to in the beginning, but like in most things, communication resolves almost all problems, and we really try to focus on that.
That's absolutely. All right. Take note. I'm just going to say take note the whole show here, everybody. Dan's hitting on all of them. Because that's why he's successful. I mean, communication. There's many times another one I'll throw out yesterday. Gal looked up on our website. She saw something about we do shows for free. We do some short clips and stuff for businesses just to promote everybody, and then we do some longer stuff. We produce stuff, and we got everything in between. And we figure out who's the sponsor, who's going to pay for it, all that stuff. We figure that out. And then she looked at some stuff, and I said, for the high end stuff, you can do this. She's like, oh, I'm going to cancel the meeting. So I called her, and I said, what do you need help with? And she said, well, we just have no money for anything. And I said, I'm here to help you with that too. So how many times do you give somebody advice and just say, hey, you'd like to do that project? I don't really want to do this project for you because I can tell you may not have the funds to do this, and I don't want to put my name on something that's not going to look good.
Yeah.
But you have to go, I'm going to help you out anyway, and we're going to make this thing right and do for them what's best for the customer, obviously.
Well, I've told many people this, and I mean it sincerely. When we're in the bidding process, if you don't end up hiring Luna Builds, you can still call me throughout the project or early on to get my sincere advice on what you're being told by someone else if you're unclear. Because I don't know a lot outside of this world, but because I've been doing it so long, I've learned a lot, and many of the lessons through mistakes, but I can help people avoid pitfalls. And when I tell them that, I mean it. Doing that has led to
grabbing the hat.
That has led to to us getting projects as well, but sometimes we can't get every job.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because I helped this young lady, and she's like, I'm older than you think I am. I can't tell. We're talking on the phone. If we do Zoom calls, we get to go over explain everything. But I just walked her through it. I said, do this yourself. At least start off at that level. Do a video yourself. Just make it look good quality. Get in front of a HVAC systems is what they're doing.
I see.
And I said, and your husband, he doesn't like being on camera. He doesn't like to talk. I'm like, is he good at what he does?
Yeah.
Does he have to talk to customers? That's all this is. Just imagine the camera's not there, whatever. And so I said, start off at that level. Then Dan helped me to realize, and this is true, I knew this already, but Dan said, I was going to start a podcast. And all of a sudden, you're like, you got everything set up, ready to go. Does this make life easier for you? Because you want to spend your time building what you love and showing. And I just want to help you show off what you're doing so people learn about your communication.
Sure. Yep.
And Dan is such an expert. I was proud to have him on and say, hey, yes, Cowboy, I'd love to be on your show. And I said, thank you, man. You got a lot of great work to show off here. So thanks again for doing it.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, let's talk about that. Was a passion. I want to look over at the reviews. Last minute, I'm like, wait a minute, we got to look at your reviews, Dan. We got a lot of great stuff about you, but let's show some of those. So on the wall, on the far wall over here, I'll put that up for everybody to see, and you can see that there's BBB A+. That's important for a lot of people. So make sure.
It is.
Where's the A+? Well, I figured out that they have now put that lower on the page, but there it is, and they do that. There's marketing going on the BBB. You got to scroll down and look at some ads or whatever's going on there. But there's the A+ for Dan, and that's awesome. You generally want to find these guys. If you don't have an A or an A+, why not? And there's all kinds of reasons for what may or may not have happened because of whatever happened with some person who said whatever. But we also have a lot of other things that people have been saying. There it is. And so just one place we found some of the reviews for Dan. And take a look at this as well. But literally, like you end up wanting to do a little research, 5 more here. A bunch of others, Google, you got them all over the place. But that's because you're on all the places that you need to be. But this is Houzz, H-O-U-Z-Z. And here we go, 5 of them here, 5.0 here. Look at the work. You got the great pictures there too, by the way, right? And I'm going to click up here because it takes me right to, where's the review? These websites are all set up differently. There, take me back down. There they are. So extremely happy with the job. He would guide your dream projects to make a reality. Pictures, just a taste of the job. A very special, practical, common sense approach along with the meticulous eye and workmanship.
Wow.
I mean,
that's great to hear.
I was to say, sometimes you don't get to read
true.
every
That's very
review
true.
somebody said about you. But I mean, how cool is that? I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit for you, like right there, with my computer nerd shortcuts I can do, right? And wow, Dan and his team at Luna Builds brought the best of both worlds to the project. The 3 kids enjoyed great interaction with the laborers too. All right.
I think that's important, and I would be remiss if I didn't say the success of Luna Builds is because of the employees. I'm so blessed to have a group of people, and I tell people, new customers that don't know us, go visit our recent projects and talk to the past homeowners, because we're going to be on your property for a while, and you should get to know who it is that's going to be reporting to work every day. And my guys are the best. I'm super proud of the team that I have. It's really led to our success.
And what's on the screen now is your website. Well, you were talking about there's a lot more of the projects out there that you can check out. Dan has many, many pictures and amazing work that he's demonstrating for everybody, so you can see what he's got. Just look at the projects, go over here to look at the portfolios, and then it's broken into categories, and we won't go through all those. We expect, some of y'all might want to go check these out, but do that because Dan has a great looking website that he can convey all this to you also.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you a copy of this video to put on your website.
Cool. That'd be great.
And because this interview, I think, helps people understand that he's a leader in our community, and he's also really good at what he does in case you need some services like this, right? Because who doesn't want to have this kind of resort? I'm working on it, Dan.
I get it.
See a picture of my
in there
house
with you. Yeah.
But I've already figured. I bought a house that has 1/3 of an acre in a subdivision, which is hard to get 1/3 of an acre a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I back up to the water stuff where it runs off periodically, so it's usually grassy. When it rains, a little water comes up there. But my actual property, I figured out I can put like a 700 square foot. How big are those pools? They're 30 feet by 20
all over
feet.
the place.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but you put in a good sized pool, that
Yeah.
would be 30 by 15, 30 by 20.
Yes.
And I would easily fit back there. And And
For
then the whole
sure.
thing around that. So when I make my next $7 million,
There you go. Keep me in mind.
I'll spend half of it with you.
Okay, yeah, I'll hold you to that.
But you do projects that are what's the one of the lower end projects?
So
you
we
might
do projects of all size. People say to me often, I've seen your website or I've seen some of your work and it looks really expensive. And I say, well, of course we highlight and showcase the projects that photograph most beautifully. And yes, there are some cost to a lot of the stuff that we do. We also do smaller projects. We will build your fire pit or your outdoor fireplace or your outdoor kitchen. We will also build a 2-story outdoor room onto the back of your house. We've done a number of those, and your swimming pool at the same time. And those projects certainly get into real dollars, but we'll do repair work. We really do work of all scale. We just maybe don't show a lot of that stuff on the website because it doesn't photograph quite as sexy as some of the bigger projects.
Sure, I just it's hard to tell. I mean, was that part of a big project or was that one piece of?
Yeah, that's right.
On the wall here, we've got a whole section for fire pits. Everybody. Then
Yeah.
I was scrolling through some of that. Well, Dan was explaining a little bit there. Let's look, before we run out. We're going to do 2 half hours for Dan, not 5 half hours, not 4 half hours, not 3 half hours, but we're going 2 half hours. How about that? 5 would be a lot. Nobody's ever done 5. We've got a couple of people we did 3. Most everybody, if I like what they're doing, I say let's do 2. So Dan, we're going to do 2. All right.
Let's do it.
But the first half hour, I want to first make sure we cover some more of the pictures. We got
let's
7 minutes left here
Yeah.
for that. So let me zoom over here back to the pictures and just I was putting a couple of those on. We'll start back at the beginning. So here we go. We'll do the wide camera shot there to see. There it is, full screen now. That time.
So that's a picture of a full turnkey project for us. That's a new swimming pool, built-in hot tub. That's a large pool and a pool house structure. And what sets us apart, I think, is the fact that we start to finish manage your project, building the pool and the structure, and the landscaping, the outdoor, the fencing around the property, the whole thing, start to finish. There's a lot of moving parts in a project like that, and I found that it makes so much sense to deal with one source when managing that, and that's why we do what we do.
Okay, I believe it, man. That's a lot of work goes into
it.
It
Is.
I was looking at a portion of that pool goes over another 20 feet that way, and everything goes around the pool and all that too.
It's a huge pool. It's a beautiful job. This is a shot of that same job, and I just wanted to show the stonework and the carpentry, the detail of my craftsmen. The Luna Builds guys are so great, and you know, creating these large timbers and making them look like exactly what's on the house. And then we have the in-house masons who do the stonework, and I think our stonework is second to none. It's really an old school craftsmanship, and I'm so fortunate to have great guys led by Dave, who runs that crew.
Okay, first name basis with all your guys. I'm sure of that.
Oh, I've known them for 25 years. Yeah, we're really
Cool.
tight.
All right, let's. Here we go. This is some real brickwork right here.
This is a job in
this
Webster Groves, and this was a large brick, red brick home, and we added this outdoor room with a big fireplace. This is a family they have 7 kids, and they tell me, I see them frequently, and they tell me that they live in this space. It has this roof structure, has a giant sunroof, and it has a big fireplace and heated floor, has heaters in the ceiling, and although this is an outdoor room off of their kitchen, they are able to use it most of the year. This is a really cool job. And
yeah, that brick looks dynamite.
Yeah.
You know anybody any good at laying brick?
I do. I know a few guys. Yeah. This is that same an interior view of that same job. You can see a kind of a fancy, cool ceiling, brickwork to match the home. We have arches on the sides with motorized screens that drop down and provide shade and wind protection. Yeah, they're really cool.
Very cool.
It's a great job. This was a house in Glendale, and they had a very simple screened-in back porch which we tore off, and we built this outdoor room. They use this a lot. They put these day beds in, and these folks use this space a lot. At the opposite end of this picture, there's a grilling area, big natural gas barbecue grill, and as well as a bar. It's a very cool space.
And you're literally adding square footage to the house.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, it is. I think that all of our stuff that we build adds tremendous value. It's costly to build, but the value, the upside to it is tremendous.
Yeah, when you say not, my house was 3,300 square foot and now it's 4,800 square foot,
Yeah.
that's a lot of, I mean, nobody's ever had any decrease in the value from doing this work.
Exactly.
It always went up.
Exactly.
And
That's
sometimes,
right.
I mean, usually a lot more than what they actually spent.
Yeah, of
was
course.
done,
That's the
right?
goal, yes.
Yeah, always. And then we all know, why do people get into real estate? I studied this I was always a computer guy. I'm like, well, first off, people have to have a place to live.
That's right, yeah.
You must have a place to live. If you don't have a place to live, you've got other problems, and there's places for those. We help those people. I've done some stuff with homeless shelters, and I love to do that because what happened wasn't even their fault a lot of times, but
That's right.
life throws you curves.
Yep.
But you have to have a place to live, and then that becomes more an appreciating asset.
Yeah.
Especially when you take good care of it and when you add on to it like this.
Definitely.
So people then take their house and say, I want my kids to inherit this. And
Yeah,
they can
and
sell it if they need to, but they're
that's
going to have a
true.
big asset.
Very true, but also if you're going to be in the space, make it what you want it to be and enjoy it instead of just, we're not just sitting on this asset waiting to sell it. Enjoy it while you're there.
Yeah, even more important because so many people get to where they're in their 60s and 70s. They're like, oh, okay, now I'm going to build it. Well,
Yeah.
Look at the average life expectancy charts, and they've kind of leveled off a little bit. That might change here depending on some of the technology and all that. But don't wait till you're 50 or 60 to build these things. Get it when you're in your 40s, 30s. You can enjoy it with the family and the kids. A lot of people do, and really enjoy that. And that's more important than having the asset. The asset's nice to have that thing so you can pass it on. But it's really, have a great look.
Yeah.
My buddy just built a place down in Nashville, Tennessee. And he built a pretty nice sized house, but he has a 3-car garage that he can shoot basketball in it.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome. Yeah.
Awesome fun stuff.
Yeah.
But he wanted to have that and so enjoy life, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay. Very cool. We got a couple left here. Let me zoom forward. This one's cool. Explain this one a little
So
bit.
this is, I'm glad we're showing this. So, what I've learned is, yes, we build these structures on the back of your house that you can, as a bridge between your home and your swimming pool area. And primarily those structures are meant to look like your home and they should feel like they were built when the home was built. But not everybody has that need. And this gives a really great option. These are motorized pergolas that we rep. They're called Rensen. They're designed in Belgium. The engineering is superior to the other pergolas on the market. They open and close.
Another picture of the same thing right
there? It
there?
is. This is another picture of the same thing. They're powder-coated aluminum. They install in 1 to 2 days. And they give you many of the options that a fixed roof structure will give you.
As we finish up, we got 10 seconds left here.
This is just a picture of an outdoor fire pit letting you know, and a new stone patio that we built, that we do projects of all size.
There it is. Stay tuned for the second show, guys. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to record both of them. You'll watch it the following night or on his website, social media.